Welcome, Libra. This is your weekly focus for May the 6th through to the 12th, 2024. I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And let's dive right into the cards and see what they have to say for the upcoming week. Okay, underlying energy. Underlying energy is, oh my gosh. So we had another card actually fly out of the bottom. We'll look at that one in a minute. So right now here we have the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a financial energy. The storm has passed. This is a time to take empowerment of your money and managing your money and growing long-term success within your finances. So she's frugal. She's very frugal. She researches, she examines, she looks at what is available to her in growing, some kind of investment. Maybe she's looking at stocks and bonds. Maybe she's looking at, here we have RSPs and stuff like that. I don't know what it is like in your country where you can have a savings for a retirement or for a new home or for school or any other facet of life that you want to grow your wealth, your prosperity, so that you can enable yourself to do the things that you want to do later on in life. It could also be your legacy that you're looking at, or leaving some kind of trust fund in place, or maybe you're looking at your estate in some way, in some form. So this is a time when she shows up, is a time to really look at those long-term sustainable growth patterns when it comes to your finances, when it comes to investments, when it comes to, managing any kind of debt or loan or financial obligation, to really get a handle on it, really get a grip on it, so that you can take ownership of your financial future. And the other card that popped out was the World card. So this is kind of tidying up some loose ends, more or less, when it comes to your finances, I would think. I think mainly finances for that. It could be love as well. But I get a strong pull that, it is a Pentacles, so we're going to go with the grounded, practical approach to our finances in order to grow them. Here we've got some loose ends that we have to clear up, we have to take care of. So maybe it's some debt that's got a little out of control, or that a credit card, or you want to start paying down a mortgage, or you want to start investing in a future of education for yourself, whatever it may be. You're thinking of growing a family and you want to set aside money for college funds, university, cars, weddings, all that kind of stuff. So you really want to look at how you are going to be investing your money to grow your money. But there are loose ends that need to be taken care of before we can really do this. So there might be something that's really glaring at you that you need to turn your focus to. Okay, so we're going to count both of those as our underlying energy because it flipped off the bottom. Our first card then is the Star, so it's making the impossible possible. So if you're sitting there and you're going, oh, I have like barely enough money here to live, Tilly. I make do, but I don't have extra to really invest. And if you started with $1 a day, and really $1 a day, $1 a day, okay, you probably spent more than that at the convenience store this morning, or getting a coffee, or something to nibble on, or maybe you go to a place of, a worship or something, or you have some kind of group that you belong to that, every time you go, you have to pay $10 or something. So $1 a day really isn't an unreasonable ask. Okay, and do it for 100 days, and then take that $100 and now invest it in something bigger. Okay, maybe it's 2 shares of something that you've been advised by your bank that these would be good investments for yourself, or maybe it's an investment counselor. There are ways of doing it. There are ways of spending a little bit more wisely tightening our belt in certain areas so that we can grow, rather than having we're in a society these days where we got to have it now, and therefore the credit card goes up because, oh, we can pay for it later. We can pay for it. I'll have the money at the end of the month to pay that off. And then you don't for some reason. And now you're paying an interest on that money. And now that thing that you bought that you really wanted, but you could have waited for it to go on sale, or you could have made it yourself, or you had something very similar you could have used at home, but you wanted the fanciest, the newest for whatever reason, that instant gratification. We have to, be very mindful of that this week, I think. And then what we can do is make the impossible possible, because now we're doing some concrete goals. You can't do $1, okay, do 25 cents or a quarter or whatever it might be in your currency. Whittle it right down and then, grow it from that. Now, the thing is to make an obligation to yourself. I remember when my son went to, he got his first job, not Paul, but my youngest. And when he got his first paycheck, I said, okay, give me half. And he was like, give you half? No, Mom, I got all these things I want to do with that. And I said, well, I know. But if you learn right now, this being your very first paycheck ever, so it's the first time he's had any kind of what he felt was very significant amount of money, give me half. I said, in every paycheck, you give me half, and you learn to live on just that half. And then by the time you leave home, you will have a beautiful, solid foundation to buy a home or invest in a good vehicle for yourself. Or, well, no, he wasn't going to listen to me. And, I wasn't going to push him. I wasn't going to force him. It would be a harder lesson for him. But, there is that tough love. And a couple of years later, he says, I wish I would have listened to you, Mom. I wish I would have listened to you. I'd be so much better off had I listened to you in that moment and giving you half my paycheck. I said, well, so now we have to learn how to tighten our belt and get back to using only half the paycheck again. How do we do that? Because now we've grown debt and now we have obligations, financial obligations, responsibilities. So it's the beginning of making the impossible possible. And how do we do that? By giving it our attention, giving it our focus, and being consistent in our obligation to ourselves. We have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is kind of popular, and I don't think everybody's getting married or proposed to here. So I think this is about celebrating the relationship, growing the interdependence of a relationship. I really get this as, the people that we hold dearest to our heart. We need to celebrate the little things that make us a unique couple, a unique partnership. Now, this could be your spouse, a significant other. This could be a child, a best friend, a coworker, somebody within the community that you're very fond of. And so when you meet for a coffee, finish it with a hug and an I love you. Allow them to know that you see them, that you hear them, that they have a voice, that they have strength to support them without saying all of that. So celebrating relationships, this could also be working on fostering a very healthy interdependence. So you're not overly dependent on them. They are not overly dependent on you. You're both individuals. Okay, so maybe it's, this is a time to if we're going to look at it a little bit of a negative way, it's understanding how we have to have certain clarity or boundaries or commitments within the relationship in order to have that true strength, in order to grow that bond deeper and stronger. And we have the Four of Pentacles. So yeah, we're holding on to something here. And I'm not really, this one's really coming more as a channel to the reading when I'm pulling this card right for this week, it seems. So I'm waiting kind of for the message to come through here. Maybe you're holding on to some kind of past dynamic because it follows the relationship card. I'm going to stick with the relationships. different patterns or experiences that maybe have wounded you in a past relationship, and how it still may cloud your judgment within this relationship, or how it affects this relationship, or how it affects you in this relationship. Maybe your last relationship, you felt like you couldn't have friends, or you couldn't enjoy certain things that you like to do independently, and so that you just don't do them in this relationship, and so you're hindering your own self-worth by not stepping into and enjoying the parts of you love. Your passions, your desires, your dreams. Passions aren't always about making money. Your passions could be how beautiful your front lawn looks, or your patio garden, or maybe the way you decorate your house. Maybe it's just when you're of service to others and you do that community outreach program, that you just feel so alive. And so, but you don't do that because you didn't do that in the past relationship, because they didn't really allow you to do it. There was consequences to doing it. So you just didn't do it. So you stopped doing it. So start looking back at some of those things that you closed doors on that you really did love, because the more you grow your independence within the relationship, the stronger you can foster the interdependence that needs to be for a healthy relationship to grow. We have the Page of Pentacles here. This is about growing the dream bigger. We're back to finances, I guess, with the Pentacle. And we already have the Queen. Did we not? Yeah, we have the Queen of Pentacles on the board, and now the Page shows up. The child of the Queen, so to speak. He's not a king, but he's got the he's naive enough to believe that, my gosh, that word just wasn't coming out. He's naive enough to believe that whatever he dreams can be, it's possible. So we're going back to the Star card as well here, with making the impossible possible. What were your dreams? Yeah, it's looking back, and now we're looking back financially. What were our dreams financially? Where did we think we were going to be sitting at this point in time, or 10 years from now? Well, we can move towards 10 years from now, regardless of what ups and downs we've experienced, because now we can be empowered in how we utilize our money going forward. So it's time to reignite some of those larger dreams when it comes to growing your prosperity, your abundance. We have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles says you've kind of reached a plateau in an area of your life, one where it's now time to start the new beginnings. So perhaps you have you've raised a family, and now you've got this really big house, right? We have a really big house. Somebody said this the other day in a group business meeting that I was in, and I thought, oh, that's genius. But we struggle because we don't have the money. We're trying to raise a family, and we have this big house that we have to pay for. And then it flips, right? We have, the money and the security, but now we've got this really big house and there's nobody in it, and we have to downsize. But now we're probably going to be doing it at a profit. So maybe now it's time to look at real estate for yourself. Look at, taking that large house, selling it, going into a smaller place, and then buying another small place and start using it as a rental, perhaps, in some way. So the Nine of Pentacles says that you've reached a stage somewhere, and I'm going with finances because the finances are the strongest on the board for you, is you've reached a plateau. It's time to move from it. You can't keep doing what you did yesterday and do it every single day without looking at it, because you're going to end up with tomorrow the same results as today and the same results as yesterday. We want to branch ourselves out. We want to see what the world has to offer in growing our prosperity, growing our abundance in new ways, in different ways. So yeah, you might be looking at investments. You might be looking at real estate. You might be looking at, investments of some sort, some kind of long-term investment opportunity for yourself. We have the Five of Pentacles. This one I'm kind of getting where we had the pullback. So I'm going to say a little bit more. Well, maybe. Yeah. Well, let's just leave it wide open for you. The Five of Pentacles. Where do you feel like you can't go forward? Where do you feel like you are limited? Where do you feel like it's just too hard to push past that obstacle, that challenge? And maybe we're seeing it on too big of a scale. Maybe we need to dummy it down a little bit so it's approachable, so it's doable. We do have the Star card, and that's where I'm going to be laying the card. The Star card and the World card. It'll be touching those cards. So it could be about we have to take care of some of the things from our past and leave them in the past in order to have the new beginnings. I would think that would be more earlier in the week rather than later in the week, because we do have a new moon coming in midweek. So use that full moon energy to look at the past and where we found the challenges, where we found it too hard, where we felt like, somebody told us that we shouldn't, or we couldn't, or we mustn't, or we can't, and therefore we didn't. And that has made our trip harder, or we failed to be able to see that glass ceiling and understand that it's there and be able to break through some limiting habits of, limiting habits or behaviors that we haven't even recognized in ourselves. So this is feeling alive again. This is infusing yourself with new direction. New direction in your finances, maybe even new directions within your relationships, or yourself as an independent, working on your self-worth and your self-worth, your self-care, your self-love. Walking with more of an authenticity in order to really grow that relationship to where it could be potentially. And we have the Devil card. The Devil card is really about letting go of the old, what no longer works, no longer has value. Maybe we will be re-examining our relationships. Maybe we will be re-examining our relationship with money. But in some way, in some form, we are going to let what is no longer working, what is no longer supporting us, moving us forward in the direction we want, let it fall into the fires, let it turn to ash, and be the phoenix rising out of the ashes. Allow the rebirth in your life of better finances, sustainable long-term finances, stronger relationships and partnerships because of the strength that you've grown within yourself. When we look straightly at work and career, the Six of Pentacles shows out. This could be promotions. This could be a raise. This could be, promotions, raises. This could be, if you've been looking for a job for a while and you haven't really come across anything, this is the time where that would open up to you. It's like a little gift, okay? It's like a little gift somewhere in your career, work. Maybe you get this aha moment, this epiphany for a new money stream that you can incorporate into your world and start gaining some money from a whole new stream. So definitely there's something coming in when it comes to work, when it comes to career, that is going to move you towards bringing in a larger cash flow, more prosperity. So keep your eyes open for not only in the workplace or in your neighborhood but also in your backyard and online. And there's so many different avenues that we can take today because we're so connected just through the internet alone. But we are connected in many other ways to grow your prosperity in some way. Absolutely. When it comes to love and relationships, it is breaking through this glass ceiling. It is looking back at those relationships that we've had, that we've changed our habits, we've changed our behaviors, we've changed our wants and our needs in order to accommodate our last relationship, which doesn't really resound with the person we uniquely are. So it's coming back home to some of your passions, some of your dreams. Maybe you find that that relationship actually didn't cause you to stop doing that. Maybe you stopped having an interest in it and you use the relationship as a vice. And so how are you using this relationship as a vice to say, well, I can't do this anymore. I shouldn't be doing that anymore. Or they don't like it when I do this. So, so start to understand what you need to take ownership of and what actually is in the relationship, in the dynamics, the patterns, the experiences that you are having. This is about breaking through the glass ceiling when it comes. So if you've been, if there's been some kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding, some kind of unresolved issue that needs attention, this is a time to have that positive, strong dialogue with each other. So think about what you want to talk about. Think about the areas you want to address, because I think it's a strong time for you to actually move towards clearing up any kind of stagnant or negative energy within the relationship. Okay, so look at any kind of communication problems you're having within your significant relationships, your partnerships. And we have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords, we're not feeling safe. We're not feeling comfortable. We worry too much about our yesterdays and our tomorrows, and we're not present enough in our today. We allow our thoughts to just drift wherever they want to, rather than gaining a control of our thoughts. Whatever we are focusing on, we are always manifesting it. Okay? It's not like you have to learn to manifest your future. You just really have to change your way of thinking, talking, expressing yourself. What you allow your mind to go to and what you force your mind to go to sometimes. To a happy place, to a joyful place. Raising your energy, raising your vibration, raising your light, and becoming stronger and more empowered because of it. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.